Trini Fusion shrimp pies. Right, those of you who've been following my adventures in Trinidad will know that I gained what might be described as a certain kind of affection for Trini shrimp pies. Well, I can't do any better than Taste of Trini can do on her shrimp pies, and you'll see that up here somewhere up there. Taste of Trini shrimp pies, and I can't improve on some of the ingredients that Taste of Trini's come up with. So I will also put links to those in the video or just below here. Right, so for this shrimp pie recipe I'm going to use a British outer and a Trini inner. Okay, so the filling's going to be pure Trini, or as close to pure Trini as I can achieve in North Wales, and the outer is going to be I'm going to try puff pastry, and I'm also going to try it with shortcrust pastry. So bear with me, be kind to me, because I'm making this up as I go along. I've given it some thought. So you're going to need some prawns, or as we call it in America, and I think in Trinidad they call this shrimp. These are these are king prawns. I'm not sure the origin of them, but they're raw. So, and it's important that we use raw ones in this dish. I'm going to cut those up and add them to the bowl to create the force meat for the pies. You're going to need, and I'll move from this end, you're going to need some black pepper, because black pepper and prawns or shrimp goes really, really well together. You're going to need a little dash of toasted sesame oil. You're going to need an egg for sealing the pies with. You're going to need about a tablespoon of ketchup. I'm using about half a tablespoon each of fish sauce, Thai fish sauce, and soy sauce, and that's just plain light soy sauce. And I'm using a couple of 3 tablespoons of Caribbean seasoning, but Trinidad Caribbean seasoning. And again, you'll see a link to that, to Taste of Trini's recipe for that. And so the next thing we'll do now is get all these ingredients into there, mixed up, and I've got to chop up the prawns. But the only thing I'm going to leave out is the egg, with which I'm going to seal the pastry. Alright, see you in a minute. So here we have it. Each prawn I'm putting 3 knife cuts into, making them into little tiny pieces like that, and then that all goes in the bowl. Right, okay, next thing into the bowl goes our green seasoning. Don't be shy, get it in there, you know you want it. Right, in goes soy sauce, in goes the fish sauce, in goes the ketchup, and there we have it. Now, in the Taste of Trini recipe for shrimp pies, the Trini shrimp pies are fried, and that cooks the pastry very, very quickly. So it makes sense that when they make the filling for the Trini shrimp pies, which cook extremely quickly, that they pre-cook the force meat for the pies. In my case, because this pastry takes around about 40 to 45 minutes to brown up and get ready, I think that will be plenty of time to cook the filling of prawns, and we shall see that, because I trust to my judgment on that, and I think that's going to work. The other things I'm going to add to that now is a little splash of toasted sesame oil, not a lot, because it is a rather overpowering flavour, but it is nice. It gives a lovely little punch, nice little punch to the flavour of that. And I'm going to give it a heroic amount of black pepper, because black pepper brings out the sweetness of prawns. it really just brings out the sweetness of prawns. It's absolutely fabulous. Right, so heroic amounts of black pepper, give it a stir, and then the next thing we need to do is get the pastry ready. I'm going to start, the first one I'm going to do will be made with the puff pastry, and then I'll do one made of short crust pastry. So, with what can only be described as consummate skill, I've opened the box and unrolled the pastry. If you want to make your own pastry, I'm sure you're probably better at it than I am. But now I'm going to just cut that in half. I'm going to make these into square pies because it makes better use of the way this pastry is set up. And the next thing I want to do is I want to take about a quarter of the pie filling and place it in the middle, which is about 2 tablespoons, and place it just off centre on there. And these are the puff pastry ones, don't forget, and we'll see that in the end results. And then I'll gather that in like that, slightly there, and then we put some egg wash around the edges of the pie. You won't waste much egg on this because we also brush in the outside of the pie with the eggs. So there you go, that's that one. Same on that one. Very quick to do this. And then we take the lid and fold it over and press down at the edges. And then we can spread the pie filling out along the inside. And then I'm going to do my little trick of crimping down the edges using the fork. And then I can take that along there. And then I'm going to trim off the excess there because I don't want too much pastry. So I'll put that to one side. Need to trim that down. Okie doke. Now trim off the edges to make a nice pie. And in this case it's quite a nice square pie. There's no rules saying it has to be. And I'll put that straight onto the baking tray. And then get along with the next one. Yeah, can go out of the way. And then the next one, pull it straight over. Check out that. Do the crimpage. And trim it. There we go. So there we have it. That's the shrimp puff pastry pies done, and I'm going to put a little expansion hole in the top of that just to let the steam out so the pie doesn't go nuts. And then the last thing we do with those before they go in the oven is give them an egg wash. You probably make yours a little bit more even size than mine. I'm a bit messy here, but I'm sure the results will be amazing. So plenty of egg wash. Okay, you don't want any. You don't want it to streak too much in areas where you haven't put enough egg wash. So get that on. Go right up to the edges. Paint it evenly. And there you go, that's the egg wash done for those. Get that out of the way. And now I'll start on the other ones. There we go. Right, now for the shortcrust pastry. And what I'll do is I'll just put the rest of this, split it evenly between the two pies. Get all that in. Look at that lovely green seasoning. I just know how good that's going to taste. And with the pepper to bring out the sweetness of those shrimp, it's going to be amazing. Right, let's have a look at that. That last bit can go in there, I think. Don't waste any of it, because all that seasoning is flavour. So let's get that on there. And I'm big on flavour. I love big bold flavours. I'm not for too much for fancy subtle delicate flavours. I like the full on flavours. I'll give that a cut down the middle like that, and then we can do the foldage. Let's get that on there. Don't actually need to do that hard. There and there. And save the last bit for the glazing. And again, pull that over there, pull it to the edge, right to the lip, and push down to secure the pie. There we go. And then we can do our magic trick with a fork again. There we go, look. So transfer those again to my pie dish, to my baking sheet. And again, just give them a little vent hole in the top. There you go. There we go. And the last thing we do with those now, before it goes into bake, right, baking. Now you want to go into a fairly hot oven, so 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for round about 30 to 40 minutes. Alright, check them at the 30-minute stage to see what they look like. Alright, because they are rather thin. They're not like a big, very heavy British pie, but we're really, by the time the pastry is cooked, I'm going to assume that the filling is cooked. So I'm trusting to my judgment on that, and I think this is really going to work. So there we are, both sets of pies, 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit for around about 30 to 40 minutes. Alright, after a mere 25 minutes in the oven, it didn't take as much as 30, we've ended up with this wonderful result, and you can see the puff pastry ones on the left here, and the short crust pastry ones on the right. What I'm going to do now is transfer those to a wire rack to cool down, and then I'll do a reveal in a short wee while. Alright, first I'll do a reveal on the puff pastry shrimp pie. Oh, look at that. Luxurious. And then I'm going to do it Trinistyle because I'm going to open this up. It's really difficult with all the layers you get on these. And you'll see the fillings cooked all the way through there, and onto that I'm going to put some cucumber chutney, some of tasted Trinistyle cucumber chutney. Oh, there's a nice big bit of pepper there, that'll wake me up, won't it? And I'm also going to put on some nice pepper sauce because I like it nice and spicy. And I'm going to close that up, and then I'm going to lift that to my face in my fist, and I'm going to eat that. Give me a second. Oh, that is absolutely perfect. Very spicy, very hot, because I did go kind of overboard on the chutneys and the fillings, but that is absolutely delicious, and it's that very familiar flavour to me of the taste of the Trinidad style shrimp pies, coupled with the also familiar flavour and texture of British style puff pastry. I'm going to move on now and test the other pie. Alright, let's cut that in half. This one should be a little bit easier to split. And then I'll go along the sides like that. Open it up, and you see that delicious shrimp filling, all cooked all the way through. Plenty of cucumber chutney on there. You can put on whatever chutneys you like, but I'm putting on these because I know they're going to work. And I'm going to have a taste of that again because I can. Oops, I'm spilling it. Well, I don't need to tell you, boys and girls, that I am as pleased as punch with that. So there we have it. Trini Fusion shrimp pies, the lazy cook way.